The headlines: 27 High Court judges to face NJC probe panels over alleged judicial misconduct. Anambra Youth Commissioner wife kidnapped en route to Abuja. Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority warns against illegal petrol sale as scarcity deepens. And on the international scene, Burkina Faso conscripts magistrate for acting against junta. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us, and now the details. The National Judicial Council, NJC, has constituted 4 probe panels to investigate 27 High Court judges in the country over allegations of judicial misconduct brought against them. This is as the council issued a letter of advice to Justice O.M. Olagunju of Oyo State High Court to be circumspect as a judicial officer before acting, even in the most challenging situation. Justice Olagunju was said to have used uncouth language in a letter addressed to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, challenging the council's decision and its policy direction on the appointment of the President Court of the Customary Court of Appeal, Oyo State, at its 106th meeting presided over by the outgoing Chief Justice of Nigeria's the CJN, Olukayode Ariola. NJC considered the reports of its preliminary complaints assessment committee on 22 petitions written against 27 judicial officers of the federal and state high courts. Based on the report of the preliminary committee, the council empaneled 4 committees to investigate allegations in the petitions that were found meritorious. A statement by the NJC Director of Information, Soji Oye, in Abuja, however, said the remaining 18 petitions were discountenanced for lacking in merit, abandoned, or being sub judice. Anambra State Commissioner for Youth Development, Patrick Agamba, and his wife have been kidnapped. Sources said an aide of the commissioner, whose name was given as Bajie Ofia, an Onisha youth and a stalwart of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, who was traveling with them, was shot dead by the kidnappers. According to reports, they were on their way to Abuja for the wedding of Governor Chukwuma Soludo's daughter, taking place on Saturday, August 17th, when they were kidnapped at the Kogi axis of the route. Confirming the incident, the press secretary to Governor Soludo, Christian Aburime, said the government was yet to find out the exact location where the incident happened, as Ubiaja, Edo State, was mentioned, as well as Kogi State. The commissioner's kidnapping incident comes hours after police authorities said that about 20 medical students had been kidnapped in Benue State. The victims were said to be on their way to Enugu State, passing through the Otukpo local government area in Benue after or before they encountered the bandits. According to the public relations officer of the Benue State Police Command, Serisi Anini, the victims were en route to Enugu for a program when they ran into the kidnappers around Otukpo. The students were said to be traveling in a convoy of 2 buses and were coming from the northern part of the country when they ran into the ambush on Thursday evening at about 5:30 p.m. The federal government has threatened to withdraw the licenses of oil marketers found guilty of hoarding premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, following the unabated scarcity in Abuja, Niger, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and many other states. Some states, especially those in the north, have witnessed continuous petrol scarcity for a while now, a situation that has since degenerated into many stations closing up due to a lack of supply. However, the federal government, through its Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the NMDPRA, has issued a warning to all marketers that filling stations that hoard petrol and sell a black or 2 black marketers in jerrycans would have their licenses withdrawn. The warning was handed down by the Executive Director of Distribution Systems, Storage and Retailing Infrastructure, NMDPRA, Ogbo Ogbugo Ukoha in a video clip shared by the regulator during an inspection tour in Abuja. He said retail petrol stations should stop encouraging the sale of products to black marketers who dispense the products in jerrycans. Also on its X handle, the downstream regulator said it had declared war against the illegal sale of petroleum products.
You need to take it very serious. If you need security reinforcement, speak to your management. We will tell them. Our conclusion, our own understanding is that you're selling this from here. There is no other place that they manufacture it from. You understand? So please take this very serious. So this is a forewarning. That from tomorrow, if we see peddlers around, we will not ask any question. Oh, we will know your license. Okay? Please, take it very serious. It's posing safety concerns for Nigerians. No selling in the hands, no dispensing, and you make sure that peddlers are not within your proximity. Proximity includes across the road and around here. We will hold you responsible from today if we see that going on.
The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, on Friday sealed the popular FAPC table water factory situated in the Kubwa area of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The Commission, in a post on its official X handle, said the development followed a complaint by consumers alleging consumption of expired sachet water containing microbes. The post revealed that a subsequent investigation uncovered significant violations of consumer protection regulations, stressing that the company failed to provide crucial product information, including production date, expiration date, and batch numbers. The Commission further stated that FAPC table water lacked essential compliance records necessary to ensure product safety and quality for consumers. Although the company claimed a 2-month shelf life for its product, FCCPC insisted that the absence of production and expiration dates renders this claim unverifiable.
I cannot, because as far as I'm concerned, there's no, what you are doing here is part of a conspiracy.
You are on record, sir.
Yes, that's why I'm letting the world know. Because I cannot read when you are already inside my facility as part of an ongoing conspiracy.
Are you aware of the mandate of this country?
Are you aware of 419 in this country?
Are you aware of this mandate?
Are you aware of blackmailing in this country? Are you aware of banditry? But as soon as I'm concerned, you are nothing but conspirators. I mean, you are part of the 419 conspirator. It's someone they want to serve us. But somebody will not talk to why are you serving the person is someone.
Sir, everything that has transpired here, with every sense of respect.
Yeah.
We came here and I spoke to you, called me names. In spite of the fact that I can identify myself, I presented a letter authorizing me on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria to do what I'm doing. You refused, sir. In fact, we have had more cooperation from your staff, and I speak to their integrity as patriotic Nigerians. And I'm telling you, sir, to look at a document that I gave to you to read. You decided to call me all manner of names.
Insufficient rainfall in Taraba State has impacted farming activities negatively, as most of the crops planted early this year are drying as a result of drought. To address the situation, experts are not only advising farmers not to lose hope that there may be sufficient rainfall before the end of the season, but to also intensify efforts geared towards improving dry season farming. The report.
Taraba State is one of the states in the northeast of the Federation that usually encounters heavy rainfall during the rainy seasons, a situation many believe make the state an agrarian state. However, the situation this year is taking a different dimension following a drastic reduction in rainfall. Some farmers in Jalingo say the last rainfall in the city was witnessed on the 31st of July, while the day of news broadcast is 15th August. They said since the beginning of the month of August, which usually comes with regular rainfall till the end of the season, it was worrisome that up till now, no considerable rainfall has been witnessed in the state. According to them, crops planted early in the year like maize, rice, okra, and groundnut, among others, were all dried, while the dams and rivers have no water due to the cessation of rainfall in the state.
To muna iya noma shinkafa, masara a nan wurare.
As farmers who are into rice and maize farming, our challenge right now is that we are experiencing lack of rainfall. Some of us can afford water engines, but some cannot. Today is about the third or fourth day I am irrigating this farm because without watering the rice in the absence of rain, all the grains will be damaged. The maize that is yet to mature can yield if the rain continues, but the matured one cannot yield any crop, even if the rain continues because it has already passed its period without sufficient water. The same goes for the rice. On the other hand, the security challenges is another factor because if you are not careful, they will steal your rice or maize when they begin to mature. I am a farmer. We are facing serious problems because most of us plant rice and maize, and all of a sudden rainfall just ceased for a long time and our crops are damaging. We are praying for God to bring rain in order for our crops to yield, because some of the crops can be harvested if the rain continues, but the matured maize and prematured rice cannot yield. This year, our plantation is suffering due to lack of rainfall. Even if you harvest at this point, you will get nothing out of it because it has exceeded its maturity period without rain. Like those maize that were planted early at my back, if the rain falls, they will yield. But those that are already grown will not yield anything even if the rain is continuing because they are already damaged. This year, if I don't get any engine, I don't think I will continue farming unless God help us and government support us. All what I have planted have gone due to shortage of rainfall. By now, I should have been selling okra worth 200,000 naira. But this year, up till now, I haven't sold anything worth 50,000 naira in the entire farm. The only good I'm expecting from the farm is sweet potatoes, because they still have some time to mature. An expert on agriculture and chairman Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, Tanko Bobo Andami, recalled similar incidents between 1972 and 1973, stressing that a good farmer should always expect such occurrences and keep in mind that there may be drought or bumper harvest at any time. Tanko declared that the only thing that government can do to mitigate the situation is to restrict the activities of hoarders who hoard products in large quantities, only to stock and resell at a later period at exorbitant prices.
Every farmer is supposed to expect natural disaster every season. It may be drought, it may be flood, it may be insect invasion or other natural disaster. Since it is an external issue, it's not an internal issue, it's not an issue that a farmer can control, we resort to prayer.
The farmers in the state called on government to consider their situation and come to their aid for the betterment of agricultural activities in the state.
The people of Malori and Goskori community, where the portion of Kano-Maiduguri Highway in Bauchi State cut off by excessive flooding last week, have commended the temporary quick intervention by the state government and urged the federal government to provide permanent solution to their plight. They stated this shortly after the federal government delegation visited the ravaging part of the road with their community leaders. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the report.
The Minister of Works, David Umahi, in company of the State Governor, Bala Mohammed, visited the scene to ascertain the level of devastation caused by the flood and sympathize with the immediate communities. Members of the community who witnessed the flooding after a heavy downpour narrate what they describe as terrible experience. When the governor came and saw the flooded area, we were happy and put a temporary intervention to make the road motorable, and he visited the place again with the minister. We are still appealing to him to support us to rebuild our houses demolished by the flood. The water has flooded everywhere in this place because the water moves from the right and cut off the side to the left of the road, and some communities nearby were shouting when they saw it coming towards their area. Only God help, it would have been more devastating than what we witness here. On his part, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, and the state governor, after inspection, says they were sent by the president to talk to the community and start work immediately because of the economic importance of the road to the country.
The president has taken quite divine and courageous decisions, but it may not be very much clear to the citizens, especially those who are not deeply exposed. And when you have somebody that is sick, the first thing you do is to give a first aid and then begin to do tests to find out the problems. But the good thing is that the president, the Democrat, knows everything about, the situation of the country. You cannot blame Mr. President, not blaming yourself as a governor, or you as a minister, or even the parliament, because it is all about leadership. And I'm happy with the kind of inclusion that Mr. President is doing to recognize our leadership contribution to M&E and inspection, because roads are meant to serve.
The federal government delegation also visited part of Ningi-Kano Federal Highway, where the road cut off and floods destroy many farm communities. Adami Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Moving on, farmers in Sokoto State are anticipating a bumper harvest of cereal grains this rainy season, following a challenging year marked by poor yields due to severe drought in parts of the country. Unlike last year, when the drought significantly affected their crops, farmers are now optimistic about a successful season, expecting an abundant yield of millet, beans, guinea corn, and groundnuts by the season's end. Trust TV's Yushao Ademo speaks with some farmers and filed in this report.
Farmers in Sokoto State have begun reaping the rewards of this year's harvest season, with the early signs promising to significant success. Some farmers who started harvesting millet last week are optimistic about a bumper crop by the season's end. Unlike last year, when drought and a high cost yielded only meager returns, those who have already begun harvesting are heading home with hundreds of bags of millet, a sign of a promising and fruitful farming season. This year there is improvement because we have sufficient rain. Last year by now, the season was caused by drought and therefore we did not get enough grains. But this year, as you can see, we are about to start harvesting millet, yet the rain is still dropping virtually on a daily basis. Alhamdulillah. The promising start to this year's harvest season has boosted the hopes of farmers in Sokoto State as they look forward to similar success with other crops like groundnut, beans, and the guinea corn, which are yet to ripen. Many farmers are now anticipating a significant increase in their overall yield this year, confident that the favorable conditions will result in bountiful harvest across all their crops. We thank Almighty Allah. This year we have gotten enough millet compared to last year. Although we are faced with serious economic hardship, provided you have applied enough fertilizer, you will surely get a large quantity of millet this year because the rain is sufficient. We will start harvesting our millet in the next 2 weeks. Some farmers that harvested millet in some parts of the state had witnessed an increase of between 40 and 60% of their production compared to last year. There is difference between this year's farming season and last year. We thank God we have gotten enough rain this year, and therefore we are expecting a bumper harvest. From all indications, farmers will witness bumper harvest at the end of the farming season. This year, we are expecting to harvest more than what we had gotten in the last 1 or 2 years, and we are hoping that prices of foodstuff will drop in Sokoto this year. As a result, government at all levels are now expected to adopt strategies that will enhance the productivity of local farmers, aiming to alleviate the hardship faced by the common man. This call for action reflects the growing recognition of agriculture's role in driving economic development and improving the lives of the ordinary citizens. Yusho Adamu, Trust TV News, Sokoto.
Disabled persons in Jos, including the blind, physical challenge, paraplegic, and amputees, have voiced their concerns over the worsening economic hardship that is severely impacting their lives. During an interaction with Trust TV on Friday, the affected individuals expressed how the recent nationwide protests in Plateau State have further compounded their struggles amidst the already difficult circumstances. The report.
These disabled individuals, who often gather around Jos Central Mosque after a day of begging, share their concerns over the nation's current economic hardship, which is having a profound impact on their lives. They reveal that the recent nationwide protest in Jos has worsened their challenges, with the week-long curfew in the state making it even harder for them to obtain food, further exacerbating their daily struggles. The high cost of living has indeed had a significant impact on our lives because we depend on other people to sustain our lives. To me, the hunger has affected almost 90% of Nigerians. During the protest, a curfew was imposed in Jos, and it wasn't easy for us during the period, considering that we have to beg every day before we get what we eat. The current economic hardship has also taken a toll on us. When the economy is already biting harder, the government-imposed curfew has added insult to injury. We couldn't go out to beg for food. We found ourselves in a difficult situation. If we are able to get something from Good Samaritan, we manage to buy gari with it because we can no longer afford rice or flour. Lamenting the rising cost of living, the beggars expressed frustration that government at all levels has failed to include them in any form of palliatives. They said, despite their vulnerability, they feel overlooked and forgotten in the effort to alleviate the economic challenges facing the nation. We are not getting anything from the government. We do hear about palliative, but has not reached us. We depend on ordinary citizens to survive, no matter how small it is. But on the side of government, we are not seeing anything. Despite our desired need, we have not received any palliative from the government. As life becomes increasingly difficult, it is crucial that both the government and affluent individuals extend their support to us. We have repeatedly reached out to the government for assistance, but our pleas have been met with indifference. The beggars appeal to both the federal and state governments to recognize their rights as Nigerian citizens and provide the support they are entitled to. They emphasize that, like every other citizen, they deserve access to resources and assistance, urging the authorities to prioritize their welfare in policy decisions and palliative distributions. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
On the international scene, at least 6 Burkina Faso magistrates have been conscripted to serve in the military this month for taking action against pro-junta activists and other individuals, 3 unions and magistrates said in a joint statement. The West African country's ruling military junta, which seized power in a 2022 coup, is accused of suppressing dissent by kidnapping and conscripting critics and urging citizens to report suspicious neighbors in the name of national security. The statement was circulated by members of the magistrates' unions among journalists on Friday. Among those targeted are a prosecutor who had instructed police to investigate claims by local residents of forced disappearances and a judge handling the case of a pro-junta figure who had caused a landslide that killed some 60 people, the statement added. The military rulers have consistently declined to comment on such allegations by critics that include Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch. Burkina Faso's army is fighting an insurgency that has spread across the Sahel region south of the Sahara since it first took root 12 years ago. The worsening violence in the region has led to 2 coups in Mali, 2 in Burkina Faso, and 1 in the neighboring Niger since 2020. In sports, Nigeria UFC fighter Israel Adesanya is on the verge of making UFC history as he takes on champions Dracos du Plessis in UFC 305 this weekend. The fight, which many analysts have described as beyond just the middleweight title at stake, will take place in the Perth, New Zealand on Saturday, which is 3 a.m. on Sunday in Nigeria. And with that, we wrap up News Update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.